Oh my goodness. I just filmed an entire review and realized that my microphone was unplugged. I want to pull up my f***ing hair. Hi lovelies, welcome to Flirting with Travel. I'm Lexi, and today we're talking about the Manos Carry-On Pro Plus. Since this is my second time talking about it, I better really hit all the highlights now. If I don't do this perfectly and in 30 minutes, well, frankly, let's go. Now, what makes it the Carry-On Pro Plus? Obviously, it's carry-on size, and just for dimensions, it is 23 inches tall by 15 wide by 9.5 deep. And that's going to include both your wheels and your handle. So the smallest domestic carry-on size that you're going to find is 22 inches by 14 inches by 9 inches, which means that it's just a little bit larger. Does that mean that you actually can't carry it on some of the smaller airlines? I've carried it on everything from the legacy carriers to ultra low-cost carriers, and I've never had anyone stop me and check the size. So take that advice with a grain of salt. So that's what distinguishes the carry-on from Manos from the carry-on plus. What gives it the name of Pro is this front pocket that's on here. So it has a nice external pocket that allows you to carry your laptop and a few just like travel necessities like your passport, etc. on your bag. So I'm going to tell you, this is not like a first impressions review. I have actually traveled with this bag pretty extensively over the last year. In fact, one of my biggest goals was, now that I'm working remote, I realized, why are you working from home when you could be working anywhere in the world? So typically, I will travel with a backpack, but I knew that I wasn't just going to be working remote. I was going for like a month at a time. And I want to pretend I'm a good enough packer that I could put everything I needed into like 1 month's worth of clothing, electronics, and toiletries into a backpack and just take one bag travel, but I'm not there yet. I don't even know if I actually want to get there in my life. So that's where the Manos bag comes into play. Now, just quick confession, I didn't actually buy the Manos. It's not technically my bag. In fact, Misty needed a new carry-on bag, and I had sent her this as a recommendation because while scrolling just through Google, an ad caught my eye that said it was the Apple of suitcases. No, the Apple of luggage. And I was like, that's a big claim. And after looking at the bag, I was like, I see it. Like, one, doesn't it kind of remind you of like an iPhone 5? Just like the shape of it. And two, it has like that universal, anyone can use this bag, anyone can get value from this bag type of feel to it. So let's get into some of the specs. We talked about the dimensions, but this is made out of an aerospace grade polycarbonate hard shell. Ultimately, what I like about that is that it's not as heavy as, say, an aluminum frame bag. I'm sorry, not an aluminum frame, an aluminum hard shell bag. In fact, this bag unpacked is only 8.93 pounds, which I've actually never had any trouble, even when it's fully packed out, just getting this into an overhead bin. Some other specs about it, it uses YKK, I believe, reverse coil zippers. Why is that important? YKK is like, it's the Ferrari of zippers. It's what everyone wants to be, what everyone should be. The zipper pulls are metal, which I do really like, because I think one of my personal pet peeves is if I look at a zipper pull that's kind of janky and it looks like if you pull too hard or if you've overpacked your bag and you're having to fight to get it open, that it's just going to snap right off the bag. So I do like that they use metal all the way around. It feels very secure. Another thing I actually do really like about the zippers is that they both have the option to lock. So on this side, I don't have them in, but you have a combination lock that your zippers go to. So it's a TSA-approved lock. It has like the key that if TSA needs to get into your bag, they can. But if just like some random stranger is like, oh, I just want to get in. I mean, I guess a knife and cut the zipper. Either way. I mean, now that I've said it, honestly, what is this lock gonna do? But notwithstanding, no one's just gonna open your bag very easily. Then for your external pocket, you do actually have the ability to put an extra lock on. Not a built-in one, but just pick up any TSA-approved lock. And if you're thinking, why do I need to lock this? This is your laptop compartment. So let's say you're having to get into a shuttle and your bag is far away from you. You have a little bit of security knowing that all of your pockets are lockable. The other thing I actually quite enjoy are the handles on this bag, as far as like just the pull handles. They're made out of, I mean, I'm going to call them plastic, and they're probably going to be like some special material, but they're made out of what feels like I was going to say a hard plastic, but it's kind of, how would I describe it? A flexible plastic. It's made out of a flexible plastic that has a lot of give. I personally really, this is my same thing as the zipper pulls. I do not like fabric handles, particularly those faux leather ones that have like the little edging around it that after time of wear and tear are going to start like hanging off and make your bag look cheap and old and like grungy. Instead, you're always going to have like this really nice smooth handle. It's got some minimal branding on it, so you've got monos listed on each of the handles. And then, you can't see it because I'm wearing a black sweater, but there is a bit of room underneath the handle and the bag. So you can very easily just get your hand in it and pull. So if I'm pulling from the overhead bin, it takes nothing to just get it in and out. And I mean, look, is it a problem for everyone? No. But I do have nails, and for me, having a handle that's got a bit of a space is a non-negotiable. If ever I see a bag that doesn't have like daylight between the handle and the bag, it's not for me. We're not buying it. We're not using it. We're not even looking at it very hard. Then, let's take a look at the wheels. So you've got some lovely 360-degree spinning wheels, and you have 4 of them. And what I really enjoy is this bag moves so smooth. And it glides with you. It really glides over like a hard floor. I've used it on tile, obviously in airports. Even on the carpet that they have in airports, it still moves very smoothly. The things that truly make a bag great are going to be the zipper, because if it pulls apart, it's just not worth it, which with the YKK, you know it's not going to happen. Good wheels, because you need to be moving and grooving. So these are great for that. And finally, the handle. Now, I actually quite like this handle, though it does have like my first gripe that I'm going to talk about with this bag. First things first, it is metal. It's not plastic, other than the actual portion at the top. It feels very secure in the bag, and I like that even if I have a backpack over it with a luggage pass-through, it feels very strong, very sturdy, and if I tilt it while I'm walking, it doesn't feel like my handle is just going to break. It never feels like I'm going to pull my handle out if I pull a little bit too aggressively. It's a great handle. And what I really like is it's telescopic. Sorry, what is the word that they use for it? It's a telescopic handle with 4 heights. I know it's kind of a nerdy thing to really think about, but what I really enjoy about it is that I'm short and I don't like holding my handle all the way up here. So instead, I typically will keep my handle on the shortest so that my arm is just kind of fully extended and dangling, and I can just carry the bag along. It almost feels very natural, just like walking with your arms down, but then your bag is right beside you. So is that everything on the outside? We talked about handles, zippers, wheels, external pocket. Yes, but we didn't take a look inside of the external pocket. So, I'm going to be honest. Of the things about this bag, this is my favorite. What I'm about to show you is like what makes the bag worth getting. So if you're looking at like a Monos carry-on versus a Monos carry-on Pro, go for the Pro, because this, it's like, these are what travelers need. Real travelers. It opens out, and so inside of the bag, you're going to have, tilted down, a laptop compartment, another sleeve that's great for an iPad, and then 3 pockets. One that's perfectly sized for a passport and some other stuff. So I'm just gonna show you like how I would pack this out and how I typically travel. So first, I always keep a charging cable with me. In fact, I tend to travel with about like 4 different charging cables just for my phone. And I like to keep one in my bag. So there's a pocket that perfectly encapsulates that. Then little headphones. These are the Sony, these are the Sony WF-LS900N. But if you have like AirPods, there's another pocket that's perfect for like AirPods. My passport, and this pocket is like made for your passport size. Then I always travel with a portable monitor. Because I actually travel for months at a time and I'm working remote, I need something that will allow me to actually work with a good setup. I've tried just working on a laptop, but having 2 screens, it's everything. That's life. And then my laptop. And so I'm putting this in like the pocket that I said works for iPads, but it also works for a 15-inch laptop, 17-inch portable monitor, and then it just zips up beautifully. Now it's a little bit puffy, so I'm gonna be honest. If you're putting this much stuff into it, actually, you know what? I think I would put headphone case up top. Yeah. And then the charging cable down below. Sorry, this table's up so high I'm having to stand on my tippy toes. There we go. Then you can zip right up. Now, with this much stuff in here, there's a little bit of seam grin, which if you don't sew and you don't know what seam grin is, it's when you have 2 seams together that are kind of pulling so you can see a little bit of the thread. So that lets me know that I pushed this to its very limits. You couldn't do more than what I've just done. And theoretically, I think if I just took out the headphones, we might actually zip up better. Oh, yep, that did it. Okay, so these little headphones, they just pushed it right over the edge. I could still zip it up, but I don't want to ruin the bag over time. Now, I'm going to say, I love this pocket. Like I told you, this is the single best feature on the bag. The one thing about this pocket that like grinds my gears is down here where the bag meets, the fabric doesn't go all the way. I don't know, can you see? Can you see my finger down here? Just hanging out in the breeze. Why? In fact, you could get multiple fingers out of here. Why wouldn't they take the fabric all the way around so anything you drop in here is secure? Because I'd be so mad if I accidentally dropped these and then they just popped out of the side of the bag. Like, ooh, that actually just, I feel like that's maybe the one kind of cheesy, cheap area that they went through, is that they didn't just connect the fabric. And I mean, if you guys know like the reason for that, if it's just an impossibility, let me know. My other, and this is like the tiniest gripe, but that's what a review is. So we're talking about what we love and we're going to talk about everything that we don't like about it. Is that these zipper pulls, while they're metal, they're a teensy bit short. If you look at them, they're perfectly sized to be flush, like the end of the zipper is with the end of the bag. So I get that. I wouldn't make them longer. Instead, what I would do if I were designing this bag is that instead of having like a really smooth, flat zipper, I would do something that kind of just pushes out a little bit like a bell. So that way, when you hold it, your finger has something that allows it a bit more purchase. It's not like if I hold it, I could slide right off. That's just amazing. The other thing, now where they fixed it, is going to be on this zipper. So like I said, you've got your TSA lock, but because it has to go into the bag, you have this little area. So when you're holding this zipper, aside from the fact that you can get 2 fingers on this zipper so easily, you also have just like a bit of something blocking you from being able to pull off of the zipper, and it makes unzipping this bag so clean. It just like smoothly goes around. And also, do you see how nice that was? It's lovely. Okay, I think that's the outside of the bag. Shall we take a look at the inside? Save you. Voila! She's upside down, but this is her look. First things first, you've got your 2 sides for packing. I like this setup for the most part. And what's really nice on this side is that you have a cool compression straps. So you have 2 compression straps and then a compression pad. And can I just tell you, I think these straps are beautiful. This is like maybe some of the best material in this bag. For the most part, like the interior of the bag is made out of like a nylon ripstop material that's not going to show very much wear and tear. Whereas this is like, think of it like seatbelt fabric, but like gorgeous seatbelt fabric that's super smooth and isn't going to show like frayed edges. And then the actual like clasp on it is very high tech, very slim, very smooth. It just doesn't eat up into any of the space in your bag. And let's say you decide, oh, I don't need this for compression. You can actually take out the pad, leave in the straps, and still use them to compress without needing this extra part. Now, do I personally find this useful? It's got like a totally flat pocket. It's fine. I've never had anything I needed to put in here, but if you do just have like a ton of flat stuff, it can easily go in there. The other nice internal pocket that it has is going to be this little one here. What I found works in there is like jewelry. So if I have like long dangly earrings and necklaces, you can easily stick them in and they just kind of curve to the side of your bag in a place where if someone were to open this, you're not easily getting into it if your bag is fully packed out. Then on the other side, you've got another mesh pocket that's flat. This one I do tend to use a lot more than this one. I travel with a ton of makeup. Shocker, surprise. Would have never thought that about you. I keep like 3 different palettes in here. And what I really like is I will typically pack clothing on this side. Then you've got this nice pad on this side. So you've got cushion either way. You're never going to get to where you're going and find out that like your makeup is smashed to pieces. Then what I personally find is the most useful cavity of the bag is this area. And these are my packing cubes. I typically leave all of my stuff in my bags so that next time I unpack or next time I'm ready to pack, I don't have to find this and find that. Everything is all together. So this is a good size bucket. And what I really love about it is that it holds both the medium Peak Design packing cube and the small Peak Design packing cube. And it still has a little bit of space on either side to stuff a few flat items in. So here's one thing that's not going to be pictured, but that does come with the bag if you buy this. It comes with a laundry bag, 2 shoe bags, and a vegan leather luggage tag. Now, we went through the story, did we? Did we go through the story about how this is not my bag? Oh man, my memory might be getting worse. If we didn't, just long story short, not technically my bag, so to speak. What initially happened is that Misty needed a suitcase. I recommended this to her. She bought it, carried it like 0.5 times. Really just, it wasn't the bag for her. I then asked if I could borrow it because I was taking a long trip. I was supposed to be doing a month in Argentina. Well, I got like a gigantic rolling bag, but I just needed something a bit smaller that I could get through the airport with perfectly carry-on size. So she let me borrow it, and well, I mean, that was like February of last year, and we're about to get to February this year, so I mean, maybe one day she'll get it back. I'm gonna be honest, probably not. Since we're just sharing stuff, one of the reasons why I feel like I can't give this back to her the very first time I carried this bag, I did not have a very nice toiletry case, and my oil bottle just burst apparently in the middle of travel. It didn't burst, it leaked, and it got a massive oil stain on the bag. And I've done everything I can to try and clean it up. I don't know what else to do, but it just feels like it's irreparably stained. So if you know of ways to clean that up, please let me know, because I don't want to just be a bag thief all my life. I mean, it is what it is, but still. I'd also like to just have a pristine, clean-looking bag. So, what were we talking about? The inside of this bag, the oil. Oh, you know what? Since we're on it, let's just talk about a little bit of advice of how you should build out your travel kit. If you're deciding, hey, I'm going to start traveling more, what do I need to buy first? It's not your suitcase. It's not your backpack. It's your toiletry bag. Because from there, if you're saying like, oh, I'm going to invest in a really nice suitcase, but you don't have a nice toiletry bag, this is what happens to you. This is your future if you don't buy a nice toiletry bag. For me, I have since upgraded to the Gravel Explorer Plus toiletry bag. It's fantastic. All of the zippers are waterproof. The Gravel Explorer Plus bag is fantastic. 2 lines of defense against any of your bottles breaking, so you'll never have to worry about that. After you buy your toiletry bag, then I recommend getting your tech bag so that you can figure out exactly what you need and go as small as you possibly can. From there, then you buy either your suitcase or your backpack, depending on how you travel. And finally, you buy your packing cubes that usually match whatever bag you have. However, word to the wise, not a fan of the Monos packing cubes. I personally feel like the fabric is way too stiff for it to be a proper compressible bag. Because you think, oh, I want a nice thick outer fabric. But what they did is that they made the compression fabric the same fabric as the outer bag, which means when you try and zip it, it just keeps on getting caught. Hence why I use the Peak Design packing cubes in this bag. Now, as far as the inside of this bag, I'm going to tell you this probably has the one thing that I dislike the most. And that is going to be the internal handle. So it's got an internal skeleton in here, but what happens is that it segments your bag pretty aggressively. Now, granted, is this something that they can really fix without making the handles external? No. And would I like an external handle? Obviously no. One of the perks about this bag is just how sleek it is and how just it looks like it's road ready. It looks like you're ready to go somewhere. And I feel like if you had like external handles and like bars protruding, it wouldn't have that. But what that means is that this isn't the side where you're packing clothing unless you don't use packing cubes and you decide that you want to like roll everything in between here just to fill up this space and then put stuff on top of it. That's how I traveled for San Miguel de Allende, and honestly, didn't like it. I don't like having just clothing in my bag. I want the organization of open my bag, take out my packing cube, put it in a drawer, and now I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, as opposed to having to live out of the bag. Because I'm not like put it like this. I'm not putting my underwear like straight into a drawer that I haven't personally cleaned myself. So typically take my stuff out of my bag, put it in the packing cube, put it in the drawer, and it feels like there's a nice barrier that keeps everything fresh and clean. We've gotten an entire look at the bag. We talked about some of the stuff I love, some of the stuff I don't like. So let's just go over the good, the bad, the ugly. And we're just gonna have good and bad. I don't think we have anything ugly on this bag because she's quite attractive. The good, like I said, I love the zippers. love the wheels, and I love the handle, which if those are the three biggest things that you should be looking for in any bag, how can you go wrong? I like the two sides. I like the compression strap that you can push down with. Just aesthetically, it's such an attractive bag. Quite a fan of that. As far as things that could be better, we talked about my not loving this zipper pull. I just wish that it had more purchase for your hands. When you open this bag, I wish that that fabric fed all the way down and didn't leave a hole where things could fall out. We didn't talk about this in the handle, but one of my probably least favorite things about this bag is that the button to pull up is on the inside of your handle. And you think, oh, that's fine, not a problem. But what that means is that when you're holding it and walking, you can very easily squeeze it, press the button, and then your hand pushes down while you're carrying it. So for me, I had to actually learn how to hold it either to the side or bring my hand, like bring my wrist back so that I wasn't pressing the button as I walked. And I realized that if you have a button on the top, you're not going to have the same problem because your fingers naturally want to grip in, whereas the top of your hand isn't going to press down as much to pull, like to push the button down. So do I like the super sleek top? Yeah. Would I prefer the button to be up top so that I didn't keep on doing that? Yes. Because even after carrying it for 3 weeks in Atlanta, 5 weeks in Bogota, a month in San Miguel de Allende, I still keep on doing that. I'm getting a little bit better, but not all the way. And to me, that's when you know that like something is, I don't know how to say this nicely, so I'm just going to say it. That's how you know when something's kind of bad design. Like that's actually a design flaw. So I love that the handle for me is both a super plus and a super minus because it's stable. I love the metal. I love the materials. I like the shape. It sits in your hand nicely, but the one thing that you need about functionality is that it shouldn't be dropping on you while you're moving. I say that's the one thing, even though I just listed like 4 other things. Did I mention that this is in the terrazzo special edition color? I do think that that is one of the great things about this bag. It comes in an assortment of colors. They've got like some pretty light blues, a really nice olive green, like a dusty pink or like a pearl pink. I'm going to be totally honest, I don't love any of those. They're nice, but would I want to own them? No. The only other color that I would buy, if not the terrazzo that's special edition, is the other special edition, terracotta. It's like this really just nice kind of rusty red-orange, which goes with my general aesthetic. But I think this one has a more unique look, more unique feel. Not everyone's carrying this bag in this color. Now that's the plus about it. Here's the minus. It's a white bag. If you ever find yourself getting stuck having to check this, it's a white bag. It's going to show wear and tear. And I know that from experience. So first time out of the gate, I took this bag on a 3-week trip to Atlanta in February. Atlanta's kind of chilly then. Then I took it from there on to Bogota for 5 weeks. Bogota's weather stays around like 55 to 60 degrees. So I needed a good amount of like warm-ish clothing. With that in mind, I was able to get 2 months in this bag, but coming back, I bought so many souvenirs that I wasn't able to fit everything in. I had an extra bag and I was forced to check her. I didn't want to. And even after taking a magic eraser to her, like those sponge, the Mr. Clean sponge, I still haven't been able to get off all of the scuff marks. And that bothers me. But even beyond that, let's say you do it the right way, because this isn't a bag that you should be checking. If you take this bag with you, carry it on. You should only carry it on. But the zipper is also, like, it's a white zipper, and now it's starting to get a little bit grungy, a little bit dingy, and I don't think there's anything that you can really do to avoid that. It feels like that's just something that's going to happen and you have to kind of be okay with it. So those are my pluses and my minuses. Would I buy this bag again? And that's with the caveat that I didn't buy it the first time, so whatever. But would I? Yeah, I would definitely pay money to buy this. It is certainly cheaper than a Tumi bag, than a Samsonite bag. It's about the same price as like the Away bags and those. So it's a good buy while still being very design heavy, very aesthetically pleasing, very functional. When I say design heavy, I don't mean just aesthetics. I literally mean that the person who designed this or the team that designed it put a lot of time and effort in and created something that is both striking but also just so useful. Like nothing is better than this pocket to me. I love being able to get my laptop in and out super easily through TSA. I like having a place where my boarding pass and my passport are sitting right there so that everything is just handy. I like the size of the handle. It's perfect. Any size bag that you put on it with the luggage pass-through is easily going to just slide right on with no problem. There's so much that's so good about this bag that, yeah, I will continue to carry this for ages. Okay, I think that's about everything that can be said about the Manos Carry-On Pro Plus. If you have any more questions about the bag, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer those. I'm online. I'm there. We'll chat about it. Otherwise, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Peace.